All right, Arkansas, Florida, staying in the SEC. We've got Florida 6-point home favorites, 49 being the total here in this game. Not ready for prime time, the Florida Gators. I know there were some people that thinking, Georgia without Brock Bowers, not the same offense. Georgia's been, not covering point spreads as much lately. Florida, they did have a good win against Tennessee, although they got killed by Kentucky as well. Florida would be capable of hanging with Georgia. Not the case. Just a brutal game. Mistakes. You can't turn the ball over like Florida did. Graham Mertz was in over his head. The defense got shredded. No Brock Bowers, no problem. Carson Beck was fine. They ran the ball. They threw it all over Florida, 43-20, a beatdown suffered by Florida at the hands of Georgia last week. If you think I'm going to trust them now coming back after a loss like that, laying 6, no way. Not for me with Florida here in this game. Even though it's a quote-unquote bounce-back spot, they did beat Tennessee. But other than the Tennessee game, their covers have been against Vanderbilt, barely, at home, and they barely covered that game. And South Carolina, and they were fortunate as shit to win that game. In fact, I think South Carolina blew it more than Florida won it. So I ain't laying 6. And Arkansas is off a bye week. I'm not saying Arkansas has been as good this year, 2-6. They've struggled. It's been a tough year for the Arkansas Razorbacks. And that's unfortunate to see them struggling the way they are. KJ Jefferson hasn't been the same. I mean, it's Sam Pittman's team has definitely had a tough time this year. 7-3 loss to Mississippi State. Brutal showing from the offense. That being said, they're back in the dog role. They've covered 3 of the last 4 as an underdog. 34-31 loss at LSU. 27-20 loss at Ole Miss. 24-21 against Bama. They were right in that game. Give me Arkansas here. Chance to hit the reset button, pull your shit together off a bye week. I know it's been a disappointing season for Arkansas, but it's such a good spot for them. And I like these bye weeks, late October, November bye weeks, Conor. They're worth their weight in gold because these teams have been playing 8-9 games in a row without a bye week. Then they finally get one. It's huge for teams to get a bye week at this stage of the season, second half of the year. So yeah. I like Arkansas a little bit, plus the number off the bye, and they've been good in the dog roll. What do you think here, C-Mac?
Yeah, this one was tough for me going through it because, they're in the dog roll because it's not going to be easy. Go to the Swamp and win, and I don't think they do. They have the bad loss to BYU, but then they cover versus LSU, 3-point game. It was all right. 8-point loss to A&M, 7 to Ole Miss, 3 to Bama, and then that game we just mentioned the game before because it was Mississippi State. How horrible it was, but they're off the bye. You got to think, but these numbers for this team. Sam Pittman, he just makes bad calls. They go real slow, the offense. Like, that spurt of the second half against Bama was like the best I'd seen them play all year. Both sides of the ball, offense and on defense. Someone just put in the chat, I kind of lean to the under in this game too. I just wish this was a 52.5. I'd really like the under, but I lean that way. And I think Florida wins at home. I just don't want to lay this number.